Okay, last lecture we have done the proofs of L'Hopital rule. So you are now legally allowed to use L'Hopital for finding out the limit of given function. Only care you need to take is that if the given expression is of the kind indeterminate kind, 0 upon 0 or infinity upon infinity, then and then only you are supposed to use L'Hopital. If you are able to find out the limit otherwise, that means not indeterminate form, and then if you start applying L'Hopital, then the answer would go wrong. Because why this is important is suddenly you will end up having a function which is easy to find the limit of, and you are practicing L'Hopital so well that without checking whether it is indeterminate form or not, you will straight away apply it, and then the limit is going to be wrong, because L'Hopital requisite conditions are f of x should be 0, limit f of x is 0 as x tends to a, and limit g of x should be 0 or plus infinity. So those conditions are prerequisites. If they are there, then only you are supposed to apply law. Okay, so now we move forward and do some important things about identifying the nature of the function with respect to the derivatives of those functions. Okay, so I will write a small theorem which is easy to prove. Everyone should write proof of that. Yeah. Let f be defined from I to R. 1. F dash exists. That means function is differentiable over complete interval I. Second condition which is given, that for every x belonging to I, f dash of x is greater than 0, then 3 f is strictly increasing on I. Okay, so if we have not defined what do we mean by strictly increasing on I, maybe we can say you can prove this, that means it is strictly increasing for every x1 comma x2 belonging to I, such that x1 is less than x2, imply f of x1 less than, if it happens for every x1 y1 x1 x2, then we call that function strictly inequality. This is strict inequality. Absolutely simple. Do it. Proof. x1 comma x2 belong to I, and x1 is less than x2. Note LMVT, Lagrange's mean value theorem, is applicable over closed interval x1 comma closed interval x2. Why? Because differentiability implies continuity, so it will be continuous on this. Function will be differentiable on open interval x1 comma x2, therefore it is applicable, so that there exists C between these two, such that f of x1 minus f of x2 upon x1 minus x2 is equal to f dash of c. C x1 less than c less than x2. F dash of c is greater than 0 given by 2. And x2 minus x1 is less than 0 implies f of x1 minus f of x2, sorry, x1 minus x2 is less than 0 implies f of x1 minus f of x2 should be less than 0, makes it f of x1 less than f of x2. Right? Just let me write down the statement of the other one theorem. Let f be defined from I to R. 1 f dash exists on I. 2 for every x belonging to I, f dash of x is less than 0. Then 3 for every x1 comma x2 belonging to I, x1 less than x2, we have f of x2 is less than f of x1. Function is strictly decreasing. लिहून टाका proof. Okay, so what do you think will be the statement of converse in this case? So let us try to write down converse of this and then we will check whether it is true or false. Blue. Here, converse of first. %56. Let f be defined from I to R. 1 if f dash exists on I. 2 f is strictly increasing on I, then for every x belonging to I, f dash of x is greater than 0. True or false? If true, write proof. If false, find. Okay, converse is false. Counter example, f of x is equal to x cube. It is increasing for every h, but at x is equal to 0, f dash of x is equal to 0 and not positive. But still it is increasing function, therefore converse is not. theorem. Let f be defined from I to R if 1 f is continuous on I, then to f has intermediate IMVP, intermediate value property. Okay. In those theorems, I think IMVP we have written one theorem for IMVP, intermediate value property. You just find out what is the meaning of that, and now the theorem is if f is continuous, IMVP. Okay, this particular theorem we have already proved, and I think the number was 5, and we said that this is intermediate value theorem. Okay, and there we have proved by considering some k minus f of x function. Okay, so statement of converse. If f has intermediate value property, then it is continuous. If f has true or false, if true, prove it. Now some students have given correct example. Only little bit of explanation why what functions you are trying to figure out are not correct is because intermediate value property is from x1 to x2. Your interval is from x1 to x2. Values of the function will be f of x1 to f of x2. Then intermediate value theorem says if you choose any value between f of x1 and f of x2, that value will be available at some c between x1 and x2. Okay. Now, if you typically create a discontinuous function like fractional part function or designed non-continuous function, then that x1 and x2, if you choose to the left and right of your discontinuity, then all intermediate values are not going to be available. Therefore, if you are defining a function by creating a deliberate discontinuity like fractional part function, then it is not going to be the correct counterexample for this. Because if I choose say 0.9 and 1.1 as my interval, x1 is equal to 0.9 and x2 is equal to 1.1, and we are talking about fractional part function, then value of the function at 0.9 will be 0.9 and value of the function at 1.1 will be 0.1. So by intermediate value property, all values between 0.1 to 0.9 should be available in the interval 0.9 to 1.1, which is false, which is they are not available. Lakshat gaya. Therefore, that kind of discontinuous function which you are trying to design is not the correct counter example for this.
सर मी जे दाखवलेलं त्याचं काय?
त्याचं पण तसंच आहे.
नाही सर, त्याला वर्क होत होतं.
I don't know whether you are able to understand what I am saying is. Let me explain it by drawing graph. Wait a moment. For example, you are saying that function is like this. से फॉर एक्झाम्पल तुम्ही असं केलंय काहीतरी, त्याने केलं होतं, इथे हॉलो, इथे डार्क, इथे डार्क, आणि काय इथून पुढे हॉलो, बरोबर असं.
हो सर.
हा, तर समजा आता सपोज आय टेक दिस पॉइंट ॲट से 2, and the value of the function at 2 is say 3. Okay, no, this point is 3 and you are jumping it to 4. Okay, ठीक है. So now if I consider the interval 1.9 to 2.1, x1, x2, what is f of x1? Little less than 3. F of x1 is say 2.9. Okay. Anyway, here in between values are not available. Here also in between values are not available.
सर पण मग जर आपण A to B घेतला, आता म्हणजे जिथून ग्राफ स्टार्ट होतो त्याला A म्हटलं आणि जिथे समजा त्याला B म्हटलं, तर होतंय सर A आणि A कॉमा B ला.
अरे नाही, ते सगळ्या x1 x2 ना व्हायला पाहिजे इंटरमिजिएट व्हॅल्यू. त्याचा कॉन्व्हर्स लिहितो ना, एफ एज इंटरमिजिएट व्हॅल्यू प्रॉपर्टी.
हो सर, पण मग ती एफ ऑफ एक्स ला असते ना, म्हणजे एफ ऑफ एक्स मधली कुठली पण घेतली तर त्याला तुम्हाला एक एक्स सापडेल.
अरे हो, पण तेच सांगतोय तुम्हाला मी की समजा फॉर एक्झाम्पल फ्रॅक्शनल पार्टला मी बेटर एक्सप्लेन करू शकतोय. दिस इज डार्क सर्कल, दिस इज हॉलो सर्कल, दिस इज वन डार्क सर्कल and this is hollow circle. Okay, so suppose I consider interval 0.9 to 1.1. याला ती असणार नाहीये इंटरमिजिएट व्हॅल्यू प्रॉपर्टी, हो का नाही? Why? Because f of 0.9 is equal to 0.9. F of 1.1 is equal to 0.1. So this between these two values, suppose I choose 0.5 value of find C. There we are saying there exists C belonging to say open interval x1 comma x2 such that f of C is equal to 0.5. That is what is your intermediate value. Correct? K is equal to 0.5. Will there exist C like this between these two? नाही. जर तुम्हाला 0.1 म्हणजे इथून इथे पॉइंट बाहेर गेला तो, त्यामुळे वी शुड अवॉइड काउंटर एक्झाम्पल लाईक दिस. We should give counter example where definitely intermediate value property is available no matter which sub interval you choose. It should not be dependent on the sub interval that you want to give. Now what you are doing is you are deliberately creating a discontinuous function and saying that you take a wider interval.
Can we design it like this?
Like this means I have to see, let me see. That is what I'm saying. You have to design. Nayan is, I think, on the job and he's doing it correctly. Okay, who is Harshita? Let me check. Replace pin, bigger one. That is what, see, whatever discontinuity you have introduced, Harshita, suppose we take interval 2.9 to 3.1, then anyway intermediate values are not available in that. Anyway, all the values in between are not available.
Sir.
बोला.
Between 2.
Let us write intermediate value theorem once again. Intermediate value theorem says let I is equal to A comma B. Let F is defined from I to R. if f is continuous on I and f of a is less than f of b, then for every k such that f of a is less than k is less than f of b, there exists C belonging to open interval a comma b such that f of c is equal to k, right? So what we are trying to say is, given any interval, closed interval a comma b, given any closed interval a comma b, value of the function at extremities of that interval, if they are possessing inequality like this, then all values between these two values are available at some point between open interval a comma b. That is what we are saying. Now, the example we are trying to create, this is 3 and this is also 3, hollow circle. Then you jump here at 4 and continue. 4. This is 3. Okay. Now, first of all, this is not correct, because if I take, even if I take a is equal to 1 and b is equal to say 5, then f of a, which is equal to f of 1, is going to be equal to 1, and f of b, which is equal to f of 5, which is equal to, you are jumping by 1, so it should be 6. Okay, so if this is the example, then if I take value say 3.5, between these two I should choose value of k 3.5. 1 is less than 3.5 is less than 6. So give me the point x where, give me c where f of c is equal to 3.5. Do we have? In this function it is not there. We don't have, right? Therefore what student done is this.
सर पण मग माझ्या ह्याच्यात होतंय ना तसं.
Students म्हणजे तूच. Then students have done, or maybe it is more, okay, maybe straight line only. Why should you have curves? You can have straight line. Keep it simple. You go from here to here, hollow circle, then you go from here, or maybe again somewhere else. Okay, maybe this is fractional part. Fractional part. Array? Fractional part function is a classic example. Why should you search for any other? This is 0, this is 1, and this is 2. Okay. Now, if you take approach that my a is equal to 0 and b is equal to 2, then this is going to go through, no issue. What I am trying to tell you is, saying that a comma b, then this property should be available. You have to give me such example such that this property is true for every a, x1, x2, b in the subinterval. असं मी तुम्हाला, म्हणजे you have to stretch yourself. This is easy. Okay. So I am telling you to check, can you create an example by which, no matter what interval you choose, IMVP is available, all values are available, but the function is discontinuous. That is what is the challenge is. लक्षात येतंय का बघा. Now here this is not correct example for this requirement, because if I choose 0.9 as first value of x1, my f of x1 will be equal to 0.9. if I choose x2 as 1.1, my f of x2 will be equal to 0.1, right? And if I want 0.5 value, I don't have c with me in this interval 0.9 to 1.5. Therefore, if your interval is from 0 to say 1.9, then this example is okay, no problem. It has got discontinuity and it has got all intermediate values. Okay, fair enough. If I am asking you to, is it false for only this kind of functions, or is it for false for some other functions where you really have not fabricated the discontinuity, but it is there? That is what is the real question. So can you fabricate an example by which you get intermediate value property but fail to get continuity? This statement which we have written just now is intermediate value theorem. And why I am discussing all these things with you is because of intermediate value property. So let me write down what meaning of function having intermediate value property. F is said to be if and only for every x1 comma x2 belonging to I with x1 less than x2 if k is between f of x1 and f of x2, then there exists C belong open interval x1 comma x2 such that this is what is the meaning of having intermediate value property. That is what I was trying to explain here. But formally we had not written it. We had done intermediate value theorem. And intermediate value theorem, actually those A's and B's are these x1s and x2s. Okay. So now it is absolutely clear. Any fabricated discontinuous function like what you are creating, fractional part, etc., is not going to work for this, because for every x1 comma x2 it should be true. You have to come up with such a counter example, or if Atharva is saying that it is true theorem, then you write the proof. Let me finish this discussion by explaining counter example. Counter example 1 is Dirichlet function. G of x is equal to x if x belongs to rationals, is equal to 0 if x belongs to irrationals. Think about it. Another example could be f of x is equal to sine 1 upon x if x is not equal to 0, is equal to say 0.5 if x equal to 0, right? So now values of the function f of x is between -1 to +1. All values between -1 to +1 are available on any interval that you choose. Or maybe what you can say is R to R may not be correct, or R to R is correct. Yes, R to R is correct. F is from R to R. You choose any subinterval. All values are available. These are the two counter examples for this. So, important, continuity implies IMVP. Converse, fail. Differentiability implies continuity. True, true. Counter example for IMVP to continuity, fail. Sin 1 upon x. Continuity to differentiability, mod x. Fail. Converse, fail. But then this is important. Differentiability implies continuity, continuity implies IMVP. Right. Discuss the nature of f of x cubic, study of cubic. Okay, so the nature of this, maybe we will discuss the theory, little bit of theory of this. What I will do is, the way we had studied quadratic equation and the graphs of quadratic for different conditions, I will draw graphs of cubic, and when will you get graph of cubic like that? All those conditions you have to write down in front of graph. First graph is like this. It comes from minus infinity, goes to plus infinity, and x-axis can be anywhere. I mean, I am drawing, suppose this is only x-axis. The nature is like this. Okay. Then if the nature of the cubic expression like this, then what all you need to specify? Then this is going to happen, this should be like this should be like this. All the characteristics, mathematical expressions related to this cubic curve you have to write. Second, it comes from plus infinity and disappears in minus infinity, somewhere here, x-axis. That is case number 2. Graph number 3. Okay, let me draw them horizontally. Graph number 3, there is a little difference between 1 and 3, that it becomes horizontal somewhere and goes. Okay, now my drawing is accurate, and maybe I can have x-axis anywhere, but let me have it over here only. 4, it comes down, becomes horizontal little bit, and then goes down. Let me have the x-axis here only. Now, see, I'm not doing the variations of x-axis because x-axis can be up or down. Basically, we want to identify the nature of cubic based on the graph. 5. 6. These are the 6 curves that we will end up having. So what are the characteristics of these 6 curves? Cubic is going to be looking like this when you sketch. It's a polynomial, therefore continuous and differentiable everywhere. What you are supposed to tell me is about one leading coefficient of f of x. Second thing that you should tell me is about f dash of x. Third thing that you should tell me is discriminant of f dash of x is equal to 0. Not 0, f dash of x. These are the 3 things that you should tell me. समजतंय? प्रत्येक ग्राफचं मला तसं सांगा. Okay, leading coefficient for this answer for 1, what do you think? 1 is going to be
greater than 0.
positive. 1 greater than 0. 1, 2, sorry, 1 greater, 1 less than 0. Okay. As far as derivative is concerned, 2 greater than 0. 2 greater than equal to 0. And here we just cannot say about 2 because sometimes it is greater than, somewhere equal to or less than 0. Okay. 2, what is 2? F dash of x?
Less than 0.
0. 2 less than equal to 0. 2 less than equal to greater than 0. And third thing, discriminant of f dash of x.
Negative.
Maybe here is
0.
Positive.
सर
yes.
सर पहिल्या ग्राफ मध्ये तिसरी कंडिशन लेस दॅन ऑर इक्वल टू 0 असलं पाहिजे ना. एका पॉइंटला इक्वल पण होतंय सर.
कसं तो इथे आला. Discriminant of derivative चेक करा. ठीक है. Therefore, the given numerical example, leading coefficient is positive. F dash of x is equal to 3x square minus 18x plus 15. Okay. Suppose if we make it, what is discriminant of this? This is equal to 3 inside bracket x square minus 6x plus 5, which is equal to 3 inside bracket x minus 5 x minus 1. So delta is greater than 0, so it is going to be the graph of this kind. Okay, and if you equate it to 0, then at x is equal to 1, the derivative is 0, therefore this is 0. X coordinate is plus 1 here. and x coordinate here is going to be 5. Okay. Now, what else you can do?
Root.
You can find out the roots. Yes. So if you check f of 1, f of 1 is going to be positive and f of 5 is going to be negative. So our theorem that we have studied, they are important theorems. Therefore, there is at least one root between these two. Namaste. So it is going to be like this. X-axis is going to be whatever, na?
Sir.
Yes or no? Nature.
Yes, sir.
Yes. X-axis is going to be like this, and I think this is good.
It is 2.
It is 2. It is 2. And these are some irrational numbers. Fair enough. And then you can find out the values of the function and complete this bracket also. So that is what is a complete nature of given problem. Signature of cubic. This is all these what we have drawn. Signatures of cubic. Okay. Okay, so now let me really give you a good problem on cubic. Find all values of k. Okay, so as far as nature of the roots are concerned, let us do some discussion in these graphs. Now, if x-axis is anywhere in case 1, if x-axis is anywhere in case 1, it has got one real, two imaginary. Do you understand? Because it is a cubic and hence must have 3 roots. Imaginary means, I mean complex, not imaginary. One real and 2 complex roots, because complex roots will be available in pairs, because our f of x is with real coefficients, all coefficients are going to be real numbers, therefore complex roots are going to be available in pairs. So for one, x-axis will intersect only once, that is a real root, remaining 2 roots are going to be complex. What is the situation here? Can you tell me what is the situation here as far as roots are concerned?
Repeat roots.
How many?
2.
2, 3, 1. How many?
The 3 coincident roots.
If x-axis is in this position where the tangent is horizontal, all 3 roots are same. So that is coincident roots, all 3 real. That is what is this situation. Any questions?
Sir, how do we determine whether 3 roots are same or 2 roots are same?
If possible, there are 2 repeat roots because of tangent, right? And there is no other point of intersection. Therefore, third root, if real, then not possible because it has to intersect one more time. If complex, then it has to be present in conjugates.
Yes, sir.
Okay, so therefore, either one real or three real. So in this case, there are three real roots and all of them are coincident. And here all three are. Now here two cases. If x-axis is as shown, three real distinct. But if x-axis is here, then two coincident, one different, distinct. Do you understand this? And if x-axis is here, how do I show now? This is for this. This is for this x-axis, and for this x-axis, one real, two complex. How many times x-axis intersects your curve? So that is what is your nature of the roots. Same story here for leading coefficient negative, right? Therefore, find all values of k such that the given cubic has three distinct roots, three distinct real roots. Okay, what is f dash of x in this case? F dash of x is equal to 3x square minus 18x plus 15. आता केलं होतं ना आपण हे वरती. Okay, so 3 into x minus 5, x minus 1. So value of the function at x is equal to 1. F of 1. So now basically you want three distinct roots, therefore your graph should be like this. Okay, this is 1 comma something and this is 5 comma something, correct? So if the graph is like this, then you don't have three distinct roots, two same and one different. If your graph is like this, that means you don't have three distinct roots, two same and one different. So your x-axis should be between these two values. So we should find out what is this position of x-axis and what is this position of x-axis when what is the value of k at that time. So what do we do? If we want
f of 1 into f of
to be greater than 0 ना, क्या करना चाहिए?
0.
हाँ?
Sir, f of 1 into f of 5 is less than 0.
सर आपण असं म्हणू शकतो f of 1 should be greater than 0 and f of 5 should be less than 0.
F of 1 into f of 5 should be less than 0.
Yes, sir.
So how much? And that is, if you solve this, you get k must be greater than minus 7 and k must be smaller than 25. Correct? F of 1 should be positive and
Yes, sir. So actually, f of 1 should be positive and f of 5 should be negative. Like
f of
the other way around will not work.
should be greater than 0, and therefore f of 1 is equal to 1 minus 9 plus 15 plus k should be greater than 0, and therefore k must be greater than minus 7. F of 5 should be less than 0, therefore 125 minus 225 plus 75 plus k should be less than 0, therefore k should be less than 25. That is what this answer is. Okay, so that is where, as far as differential calculus is concerned, that is where I stop for the day.